on pooping. Enter the world of Sansar. Alright, we're going to head on over into that Ready Player One experience right in the middle of the floor. Towards the end, in the middle of the floor, there was a Ready Player One exhibit. Okay, yet again I'm back. After closing and reopening the program, I'm back, baby. Crashing no more. Yeah, I know, this thing. This is like a unoptimized beta mess. I'm heading on over to Ready Player One is what I'm doing.
Alright, how do I get there?
It's right over here. Right over yonder. Right over there.
Oh.
Oh boy. This is
So
H's. Huh?
Is this actually like at the CES booth?
Yeah, they say it's like it's a duplication, but there's some things like that floating thing over there and a couple other stuff. Like that thing over there is different, I guess. And a couple other things, you know. But it's supposed to be a replication. I'm sure the walls are different.
But like at CES at Intel,
Yeah.
they actually have the headset.
Yeah, like over. I guess they have a big table with a bunch of them, so more than one person could do it at a time. Here, I guess they modified it.
You could be at CES and then like put on the headset and then be virtually at CES.
Yeah.
And then you can go into this.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Don't you crash on me. Don't you crash on me, H's Garage. So in the book, Ready Player One, it wasn't H's Garage. In the book, Ready Player One, it was not H's Garage. It was the basement, and it was all retro and cool. But this is a garage, so it's going to be full of nostalgia lore, baby. VR recreation of H's Garage from Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. Interpreted from the original ILM design for Ready Player One from Warner Brothers Pictures, Amblin Entertainment and Village Roadshow Pictures, opening on March 30th, 2018. Oh boy. Resolution's pretty high. They say this is a recreation. It was worked with intimately with Warner Brothers. Excuse me. Oh boy, look at this place. H's Garage. Garage Day, H's. Let's see what kind of lore we got. We got this, is that from RoboCop? That thing that lit that guy up? I think it is. Is that Battlestar Galactica? I don't know. What do we got in here? Is that from Alien? Probably. That thing. Get your hands off of her, you blank word, you alien bastard. Here we got a little car. Is this from Ferris Bueller's Day Off? I don't know, probably not. Everything's all retroed up in this world of VR. What's this? What is that? Oh, that's a freaking forklift. Yep. I don't know why he would have a... You know, let me correct that. Hello, welcome. See you again.
Hello?
Yeah. What movie is that from, huh? What movie is that from?
I'm clueless, man.
I think it's from, isn't that from Space Odyssey with the HAL thing? He was stuck out in that thing and then, maybe? I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. Everything should be referencing something retro-ish. There's Iron Giant right there to the left.
Oh, yes.
Oh boy. That's his legs, I guess. Oh, they have him.
Graphics.
It's pretty good, right? Yeah. And look, that's badass. That's awesome right there.
The details, like, legit.
Have you read the book, Ready Player One?
No, I haven't. I've seen the movie trailer.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. It's the Doctor Who's thing.
Oh,
these hands are awesome right here. Ooh-wee.
the telephone thing.
It's pretty awesome. Iron Giant.
That's sick.
Oh, look at that face. Oh, look at that face, meat. Wish we had a flashlight up in here. There's supposed to be Easter eggs in here. Like, whenever the movie is, you know, it only shows certain things, and it's supposed to be extra stuff that is only in this VR experience. Huh, what's that? Tequila. It's the Bible.
Can't grab objects, right?
I don't think you can grab. Nope, you can't grab anything.
It's a little better with the interaction.
Yeah.
How do you run?
Really good. Press in on the left thumbstick if you have a.
I have a Vive.
Then it might still be the same thing. I'm not too sure. The controls are only visible in the browser, which is lame. It might be similar, but it's probably on the left hand. Whatever it is, it's left hand. Right hand is like third person. Nonsense.
Oh. I can't sprint though. It just walks.
Maybe it's one of the D-pad directions on your pad. Maybe it's like a, I don't know. I have the Vive 2. That darn freaking trackpad, bruh.
Got 2 headsets.
Yeah.
Would you upgrade to the Vive Pro?
It's really expensive, and I already bought all this stuff, you know. Like I started off with Vive, and then I got an Oculus Rift, and then eventually I will do Vive Pro, or maybe the new edition of Oculus, or maybe the Apple one whenever they release one. Who knows?
They're gonna do like AR probably.
Yeah. Well, the Vive one has the camera in front, so that has a mixed reality sense to it. A little blaster gun. Don't know what that's from.
Off-roads.
Well, see, in the book, this whole H's thing, this is H's garage in the movie, but in the book, it was a basement. And it looked all retro and cool with posters on the wall and arcade machines, and this is like a completely different concept. I'm gonna walk up these stairs. This guy's crashing out over there. Oh no. What do we got? Easter eggs? Where are you, Easter eggs? I know how to find stuff, bro. Hazardous waste. Oh, there's a bike over there. Is that Pee Wee Herman's bike? Probably. I will find you Easter eggs. I can't jump in this world. I will find all of them. Well, they did a good job, I guess, This is going to be what's in the movie with camera angles and everything. Camera angles and... Oh, what's over here? Oh, I will find all the clues. I will find all the clues.
See, it kind of crashes.
Yeah, your character's crashing over there. He's still walking.
Yeah, like I disconnected earlier.
I think that's...
like just froze.
Is this Pee Wee Herman's bike? Maybe, I don't know. From that one movie. Everything should be something. Yeah,
It was like based in his like garage or something.
Yeah.
Basement.
Yeah, like I was trying to tell you when you were crashed out. In the book, it was a basement with like couches and posters on the wall and arcade machines and a bunch of retro stuff. This is a garage. And they changed it in the movie because they figured that he would like to display his Iron Giant and all that other stuff. But they changed it, you see. They changed it.
In the trailer, he was like, in the stats.
Yeah. Well, this is the guy's friend. This isn't his place. This is that main guy's friend. His best friend. He hangs out at his place all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool storyline about, the CEO dies and he makes a freaking Easter egg put into the system. If you find it, you get control of the company. But that company controls the whole world, sort of, because everything uses VR, the same system, the same OS called Oasis. And if you find the Easter eggs, you get to control Oasis, which means you control the world. And it's worth billions and billions and trillions of dollars. So the whole world is organized to play this game. And everybody is trying to find, like, they're all watching old movies and old 80s stuff to find out what that creator liked. So they have to go into old movies and do weird stuff. That's why it's all this retro stuff. Because it's
creator.
Yeah. Wow, there's collision. I can't walk past you.
Oh, sure.
No, I teleport past you. Which means I can teleport back into secret areas, right? Nope, can't. Huh.
Yeah, I seen in the trailer there was like a golden room or some shit.
Yeah, there's like you probably saw like a key or something and like some Easter egg nonsense and some door gate crap.
That means they have to like spend a lot of money on like copyright too, with all like the references to movies.
Yeah, like Back to the Future and everything, and well, that's why it helps that Steven Spielberg. I think they're going to be using a lot of Warner Brothers and Amblin Entertainment assets, because I bet you Iron Giant is owned by either Warner Brothers or Amblin, so like they already own it. a lot of the stuff, I guess.
That would help, like, kind of capture people's attention.
Yeah.
If it's, like, referencing your pop culture and they can see,
Yeah.
you know, fiction in VR, that gives them an idea what's possible.
See, the weird thing is, like, we're actually... If you watched a movie and you see, it's like, wow, I wish I could stand next to Iron Giant and, like, be in his hand. Well, we're already doing it. It's already here.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just not...
close to it.
Just not real enough yet.
You still get the scale, though.
Yeah. Like, the scale of his hand is really real, man.
Like, if this is your first time with VR...
Oh, yeah, it'd be mind-blowing.
Yeah, this is like going beyond your own ceiling.
Well, I like how there was he put little chalk numbers on here because he's trying to figure it out. See, in this sense, like in that world, there's a tangibility to VR stuff. Like it requires maintenance or something, which makes it more real. Like if your VR object breaks down, you have to care about it more.
Yeah, it's like simulation to the max.
Yeah, that's what I like about certain things.
That's like almost Black Mirror level. Watching ships. Oh, this is like this mech.
Is that from Alien? That Ripley got in and fought the Alien Queen from Alien 2, I think. I'm pretty sure because those hands look darn familiar.
Alright, but this car.
It's pretty awesome. Now we know how big it is. Looks pretty secure. Pretty durable.
Have you tried out VR chat?
No, not VR chat. I've tried everything else on the planet, just not that. I know about all the current memes about it, though. It makes me concerned about going there.
Well, I mean, if you enjoyed this...
Oh, yeah.
You'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
Because everyone can upload whatever they want.
Well, that's awesome. It allows you to create your own content.
Yeah.
Well, that's
how the memes come, like...
Yeah. you're able to make stuff that's relevant. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I think that's a button up there. I see a button.
But this has better, like, graphics.
Have you tried Anyland? Or heard about it?
Heard about it.
Yeah, so...
It's like you build your own android.
Yeah, you build your own... Anybody has the ability to make... oh, that's not a button. You can make yourself, you can make the world, and it allows for really easy functionality. Like you can make buttons do stuff, and walls open up, and you can make machines and devices. It's just the graphics are really... it's all basic Unity graphics with very simple textures. But
it's like
it's awesome.
Almost.
Yeah. But you can make whatever you want. You can make something look really, really detailed with those blocks. It just takes a long time. And it's not going to have textures and like metal stuff. Alright, well, sell this thing. I don't like the garage, I guess. I do like the garage, but I don't like it, but I do like it.
Yeah. The lighting is good.
Oh, yeah.
And the sound.
Oh, yeah, it feels really ambient.
Yeah.
It helps to give a spatial.
Version.
Whatever this thing is. One of these jets are from Battleship Galactica, either that one or that one. I'm guessing that one because of the red stripey thing. I don't know what that one's from. That's from something else. Are you from Ferris Bueller's Day Off? No, they had it wasn't a two-seater in that movie. It was not a two-seater in Ferris Bueller. It was not.
Oh yeah, there is collision. In VR chat, you can just like walk through anything, except the walls.
That's not good. Well, you could break the collision by walking forward. In other things, it pushes you backwards when you try to walk into it. Like when you try to actively walk into it. Yeah. It doesn't. I don't know if it's moving my avatar forward. Well, actually, no, it's not letting me do it. Let me see here. If I try to walk in the room, it'll let you walk into things. Maybe you could appear behind something by doing that. Cheat it up. Oh, I got access. I'm cheating. Whoa. I found a way in.
So what?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm trying to find Easter eggs. I found it. Oh boy. No. Bunch of nonsense over here. See, the cool thing, like, if this really was like the Oasis VR thing, and if the person really did own this garage, and if all these barrels actually had stuff that he needed to use, like if it had oil because that thing needs oil, and if this had little spare parts and he had to keep it over here with little O-rings and gaskets and stuff, that adds a whole level to virtual reality when there's maintenance and entropy and reality.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah. Just not the. Which one?
The new season.
Nope.
The first episode's about VR.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, instead of a headset, you put a chip on your brain.
Okay.
And then there's a CEO who hates all his coworkers, and he owns a VR company. And he takes their DNA and recreates their consciousness in the VR game. And the episode starts off with them being confused, like they just woke up. So they're trapped in his game, and he like tortures them. Yeah.
Well,
they eventually find a way out.
We are going towards direct brain interface very fast, actually. It's, Facebook talked about it during, I think, their presentation from, I think, 2 years ago. They talked about doing direct brain interface. Facebook, using light, because your brain can react directly to either light or sugar. And certain wavelengths of light can pass through even bone, like red light. And they put it right in your brain, and they're able to, the goal is to have glasses where you don't use your hands or words to interact with stuff. You shouldn't have to say, "Hey Siri," because sometimes you're in a crowded room, so you're supposed to be able to think about it. So I think it's going to work by using object recognition and eye tracking and personal preferences. Like if it knows you're looking at a barrel and knows what your semantic meaning of what a barrel means, it'll give you an array of things around it, and then you could just think about the one that is there. So you don't have to do layer. It's doing the thinking for you, and it's doing the referencing for you. So if you see someone's face, it'll give you a cloud of all the memories that you have about that person. You see a waffle, it'll give you remember last year at Coney Island we had that waffle? That's how I think it's going to work, but very soon probably. Which is horrible.
That would be sensory overload.
Well,
it'd be you're technologically on acid.
Well, see, I think it'll help out the language barrier. If you were looking at that barrel and you had memories about it, and without you having to describe your whole freaking life about what it means to you, I could just see your cloud, and I could see how my cloud matches your cloud, and it's oh yeah, you went to Fiji Islands, you had that barrel too, yeah, me too. And it's it skips away a lot of the middleman, and you know exactly what you want.
All that information has to go to someone, and there's a big brother that knows all your data.
Absolutely.
Your whole mind, bro.
Absolutely, that's the problem. That's the problem, because if you're a good person, it's fine. But if you have negative thoughts, or if it'll know you see a baby, you think about killing it because you have images of World War II and bombs and stuff. Every time you see a woman, you see a woman, you think of slasher and psycho and murder scenes, and it knows. This person thinks about murder all the time. This person is a promiscuous, evil person because it knows what you're kind of thinking about, and then it could correct you. So as long as you're fine, it's fine. If you're a good person,
that's crazy.
Yeah. But I think with access to information and with virtual reality, individual uniqueness will disappear, because whatever makes me unique is because I existed before the internet, and I'm from a certain state, and I have certain food preferences because of the stuff that's around me. But if each person has equal access to everything, nothing really gains relevance over another thing unless it's objectively good or objectively bad. It's what makes waffles better than pizza? Nothing really, because waffles are better than pizza. It's about the context of it. So everybody will eventually have the same context, and it won't be some weird mental deviation of why a person likes something that doesn't really make sense. That will go away in about 2 generations.
That's kind of scary, because then things that people are passionate for, it's because they want to learn about something. But if everyone knows everything and everything is known, then what we search for, it'll just be traveling the road. Maybe, I don't know.
Yes. The second, let's say that you're able to easily fly as fast as you want. Who really cares about the fighter jet unless you like fighter jets? Unless you personally like fighter jets because of some movie that you saw. But when you start deconstructing everything, it's just, well, I want to fly, I want to go fast, slow. Then speed starts to lose meaning about, well, I could just go right here, right now. I could teleport. Done. It doesn't really matter anymore at a certain point. It's all equal, and it's just. I think we'll stop having artistic stuff. It's all gonna be. I don't know. I think this is the end of humankind, personally.
Oh, yeah, that's like tampering. That's tampering with the flow.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think we'll all eventually have a shared consciousness through VR. It'll be like the same. I think. Okay, what's going to happen is
We're gonna be so neutral.
Facebook said they're going to give you a digital assistant in AR that knows everything about you, like a little genie. Well, that genie is going to be basically you and your best friend. People are going to have numerous best friends that aren't real, that know everything about them, but they will be them. And I think they will eventually sell copies of themselves to hang out with their friends. Or like you could rent Tom Cruise or an AI copy of Tom Cruise for a bit. And then eventually it's all
So
fucked
that's
up.
like, yeah, I mean, that's the whole consciousness copied.
Yeah.
Interacting with like someone's twin.
Yeah, see, the whole consciousness copy thing is just if you know a person's semantic internal database and reference system for what things mean to them, you know who they are because you know how they will react to stimuli, to mental stimuli. You show
So
them a
like,
puppy. Yeah.
if I were talking to you right now and there's like another conscious VR copy of you, how would you feel about yourself?
I already have. Look, if I saw a version of myself talking right in front of myself and he was an AI copy of me and he's
What
talking.
if we two had like different point of views? Like one point of like, what if you got into an argument with yourself? Who do you think would win? Which is the real you?
There is no real. Like, I personally believe that there is no real me. I think I'm also you. It's just when I'm you, I have your memories and consciousness, and when I'm the lamp, I have no thoughts. It's like I think we're all the same thing already. It's just that right now we're trapped with our own brains and with our own reference model. And once that reference model goes away, it'll be transparent that we all already are the same thing. So, like, imagine you have a conversation with yourself from the future, and you don't like yourself. Who cares? It's like that's a different you. Like the you from 5 years ago isn't really you. You had different opinions about stuff, and you could argue all day. It's the same thing as having a fake version of you with an argument. I know it's just a different instance of me. If you copy the universe right now and you make one version live for 5 years, you come back, you can equally kill that person, or not kill that person, or have an argument. It's still you, but it's not you. It's as you as everything else. It loses all meaning. It's kind of horrifying.
Holy shit, it's a loop.
Yep, it's horrifying.
Well, I mean, I guess like if you think about it, if you look at a bunch of ants, they all feel like they're individual, but the organism, if one ant is dead, another ant will be alive, and it's just actually just part of the whole group.
Yep. Yep. And see, the ants, they formed a perfect system to the point where they don't have to actively think. There's no thinking involved. It's just chemicals. They go out from the hive, they look for food in a search pattern. When they find it, they bring it back, they leave a different chemical marker, other ones follow that trail, and then it forms a weird complex system that looks alive, but it's not really. I think it's just I think ants and bugs and trees and stuff, it's all like a artifact of reality, like living code. And even people, up to a certain point, we have this illusion that we're actually alive, that we have thoughts and feelings because we're unique. And because everybody has the equal feeling of you want to be special, you want to be alive, and you want to have meaning in your life, mixed with unique experience equals I think I'm a real person, and I'm unique, and I'm from a place, and the fact that I have a dog has meaning in my life. But it doesn't. So. Yeah, man. Freaking future.
What were you saying before that?
Oh, social stuff. Yeah. See, it'd be nice if this pipe here did something. Yeah, I knew it did something.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
What's
also,
up?
like, I kind of feel like that way when you're like on a plane and you see a city. It's like above, it just looks like it's flowing like together because of all the cars and everything.
Yeah.
People walking.
Yeah.
But if you zoom in into a car, a person actually feels like they have their own life.
Yes, same thing with the economy. It's like it looks all complex and stuff, but it's entirely freaking predictable about what's going to happen. It's just when you get down to the micro scale, it gets chaotic and weird. But you could predict entire trends of populations. or demographics. If you know quote unquote demographic, you know exactly what they're going to do within a certain margin. It's how you control people. You create clones of people by creating like fashion and trends and like culture, different kinds of cultures. That's different ways of creating molds of people so that they're easily predictable and controllable. Because if I create a blank kind of person and you make a instance, you know exactly that that group is going to do something with small deviations, but the majority will do that thing that you want them to do. It's how you control the masses.
Yeah, so it's basically an algorithm.
Yeah.
The ultimate algorithm would be reality. They
Yep.
have that much information to quantify.
See, I have a feeling that, not that this is all fake and is already in the quote matrix, because that implies there's like another layer above us that is normal with computers, with running people, because it doesn't make sense. You have to have a weird sort of where it's fake, but not really fake, and it allows for the, well, what I mean is, in the same way that this place doesn't look clean, it doesn't look clean, it doesn't look polished, it just looks real because it looks rusty and damaged. And how in reality you say, how come this isn't heaven? When I walk outside, I stub my toe. Well, reality has the dirt and the filth, which makes it seem more real, which makes you value things more. You have value through loss. So you have to have entropy in order to have, good things. So you have to have corruption. Breaking down of reality, like the natural, it's like a thermodynamic concept where everything will eventually dissipate over time. You have a gas, it'll dissipate. It goes from complex to chaotic. Everything does that. It's a natural thing, except for life. You see, except like life is the contradiction to the universe, and especially humanity. Our personal goal internally is to destroy entropy, which means make everything perfect without breaking down. Remove the dirt, remove the chance of the breakdown.
Oh, so entropy is death.
Yeah, entropy is the whole aspect of death, that everything has to die, everything breaks down, something loses heat. Like you have a hot thing, it cools down, that's entropy. It doesn't stay hot. If you put a hot thing to a cold room, eventually the whole room will be warm. It's not, you don't have the singular things. You have everything just fades away and turns into dust, except for life. Now, some things they group together, right? It's a natural, but life is the universe, and it's in there, you know what I mean? And it's a natural product of it, based upon complexity. Things that are similar joined together, making more and more complex things, making more and more, which then, like crystals and stuff like that, and suns and planets. So those are very complex, unique, singular things. It's not like we have the universe full of just dust. We have planets that are symmetrical and pretty and nice, and that's where things are able to combine more and more. But on that planet is full of entropy because everything's breaking down, which allows things to be separate to join back together. It's like a cycle. Things have to be torn down, to be broken apart, to be brought back together in a higher form, leading to an end state. So if you follow that as you have the universe, a bunch of weird dust and nothing, which forms globs of things, which then forms denser globs, being the brain and neurons and everything, because that's formed from the universe, which then seeks to destroy entropy. That's like our goal. That's why we make machines and technology, and we want to live longer with the urge to push forward the goodness of the light.
Mortality is weird though.
What was that?
What if you want to like exit, but you can't? It's basically you're trapped with technology.
You're talking like escape the simulation or escape?
Well, I mean, like if someone can basically copy the consciousness, they have the choice to like transfer or basically copy the consciousness when they die. But then it's like maybe you do go somewhere when you die, or like you go back into the universe, and then some part of you is like trapped here, and it'll be like deja vu.
See, it's such a weird thing. You see, it's almost a sad thing. Let's say that you take a drop of oil, and that oil is everything that ever was, right? Or whatever. And you put it into a bathtub, and the oil fans out to make a membrane, and then you blow bubbles underneath that oil. Now there's bubbles, big bubbles, small bubbles, stacks of bubbles, complex bubbles, and the very, very top layer of that, those are people. And they think that they're real, and they have unique experiences because they could trace back the past line of the stack of bubbles, leading back down to the bottom. And they can say, look, that's my origin, that's where I come from. But when you pop all the bubbles, you have just this one unified membrane, which has It doesn't have the experience anymore, but it's still the same thing. Now, does it have the capacity to experience? Does it have the capacity to? Is it alive? Does it have consciousness? But in that context, consciousness is just the ability to cross-reference and then look forward. Like you're looking for similarity, you're moving away from difference, and you're combining things and you're separating. That's all it really is. And we move towards similarity, you move away from difference. But when everything is similar, you stop. You think about a time of peace, you're not thinking. You think about when a person prays, after the words in the head, they just stop and they wait. When you go to sleep, you wait, and all the thoughts just go away and they stop. When you're, imagine you have a long hike and it's all over, you sit there on a bench and you're like, oh, I'm done. And then you stop thinking for a while and you just exist. That's what it's like without referencing the past, you know? You don't think, no, I sure walked a long way here. The second you start thinking about where you came from, you get all human again. And you stop being just non-thinking existence, which is the neutral state, I think. And we move about our day with a neutral state, and then you see something that you are reminded of, and then you see like the red thing, and you move towards the red thing. It's like, oh, red is apples. I'm biologically hungry. I like apple pie because of last year. It makes me feel safe in companies. I want to call it grandma because she makes apple pie. But you don't really think about all that. You see the color red, you think grandma. And then you think, why should I call grandma? Oh, because she owes me money. It's like a weird your thoughts get in the way of the weird just moving towards similarity, which is all it really is. So my point is that in the context of all that, once you die,
Yeah, you go to a neutral state where, I know what you're saying. Like I went to like a sensory deprivation tank.
oh sweet,
And then I got into like a point where I actually totally forgot that I was even thinking because someone knocked on the door and they like snapped me out of it. And then maybe that's like the same state that people feel when they meditate,
Yeah, isn't
or
that-
when they like really get into a flow.
yeah.
It's like automatic.
Yeah, it's very, very strange, because like when the person knocked on your thing and you snapped out of it, you could have been there for an infinite amount of time, and it's only relevant until afterwards, and you think, well, I was there for a long time, but you're not really aware of that span of time. You have that comforting feeling of, oh, feels normal and good. You're not really thinking words about how you feel. It's just a state of existence. Very strange.
Yeah.
See, the state of existence only gains like humanly relevance when you think about, I feel safe and comfortable. Not like last year when I broke my leg and my sister and my car and you start thinking about reality about, you compare the now to yesterday, then it makes you feel good, even better about what you're looking at right now. This is all just nothingness, but it only means stuff because that shape means something to me because of my thoughts. And then you move towards, oh, this is cool. That reminds me of that one movie. It's just because I saw that one time with my human eyeballs.
And that's like talking about this dimension. It's probably like third dimension, fourth dimension.
Yeah.
Fifth dimension.
Yeah.
So on. I heard there was like 9.
Yeah. They could, yeah. And
What makes this like dimension recognizable is like the shapes and colors and like this, like it's a simulation of
yeah.
the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Where once you have like eye tracking and then like haptic feedback, or maybe we just have like a chip that can just like shoot information straight into you. That's the real virtual reality. Because you're experiencing it with your consciousness, and then you can run around, but it's all like in your imagination. While this, it's just your eyes. You don't have the whole like recreation of reality.
It's like let's say there's pain, right? There's pain, and there's good sensations, and there's hot and cold, and there's pressure, right? Pressure, pain, hot, cold, and some other stuff, right? And whatever. If you keep breaking it down, Reality is no different than virtual reality because it's not. It's all just a bunch of nonsense. That we add relevance to things based upon our culture and our civilization. If you're just sitting in a room with a bunch of stuff, it only means something because that stuff kind of means something, sort of. But it's just a bunch of weird like wood and metal and little plastic things and arranged in a certain shape. Then you know what it means. You pick that thing up and you use it and you put it back down and you walk around doing stuff. And then same thing as here. It's not much of a difference because if you have a thing, you pick it up, you put it down. It's being able to move and think, and I don't know. It's all the same.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like value is invisible, so like value can be on anything. You just like, put value on things you think matter to you, and like every culture is different.
Yeah.
So like, they're all. If you're gonna think about like a virtual reality, then every like country is a different operating system.
Yeah. Different protocols and everything. So,
But that's also a virtual reality. You think virtual reality is like a virtual reality. We're just putting a name on it. That's culture's like word for describing what this is.
you're right because you're right. Like different cultures can be seen as different virtual realities because you're creating quote unquote. You're creating rules, and you're saying that's what that is. That's what it's called. That's what you use it for, and that's where you get it from. And you go down to either the village market or the supermarket, or like you walk down with the weird thing. It's like a video game, but a controlled sort of thing. I mean, so let's say that you're able to take your consciousness, I guess, you put it into a simulation, and it's fast forwarded really fast. You say, okay, your simulated self will live 5 years in this tropical paradise, and you'll put it back into yourself, and then you'll get semantic-based memories. So not all at once. It's just you get the wow, that was exciting and fun. And then next time you go to the fridge to get pineapple, you get like a memory flush about the pineapples, or like it'll come and come and come. It's like I don't have a memory flush in my entire life. Like my memories. It's only relevant to whenever you think about something. It's not like overwhelming you. Sometimes you get lost in thought and just daydream. So maybe daydreaming will be maybe we'll have enhanced daydreaming where daydreaming turns into virtual reality because it knows what you're kind of like daydreaming about and it fills in the gaps. Yeah.
That's what your dreams are, though, right?
Yeah, that's what your dreams are. Horribly.
Well, I mean, like when you go to sleep and
Yeah.
you're like thinking something
Yeah.
and you're seeing it and experiencing it, that's a virtual reality.
Yep. So we know that we do that while we're awake to a certain degree. We fill in the gaps with our subconscious, right? Our subconscious fills in the gaps. Like you assume and then you complete it and say, oh, that's not how it is. You walk over to get a closer look and you fill in the gaps again, right? You see a blinding flash go by, you think it's a cat. And then I think it was a cat because it had a tail and stuff afterwards. And like with a police lineup, that's how they get it wrong all the time because a lot of assumptions are made and the mind just like with the Mandela effect. A lot of that is because the mind fills in the gaps, while you're awake. And I personally think, because I'm saying all this weird stuff, that we are all creating what we see with our subconscious, but it's not a personal effort. It's a mutual effort. Like you and I are interacting with this space, sort of, that somebody else made with their mind. And I see stuff and you see stuff, and it has meaning for both of us. And then we fill in the gaps, but I think it's a actual gap filling. I think you're actually filling in the gaps of the universe. Like when you say, oh, it was a cat, it really is a cat until you confirm it. It's like a Schrodinger's cat sort of thing. But more, it's like, if it was a cat, where'd it come from? It has an owner. It has babies. It left poop everywhere. There's a past to it. So it's not just you're creating the moment, you're creating the past. You're creating the entire past and the present. I also think that all that really exists is right now, and that you already are sort of dead. So I think that we're all kind of already dead, and that this is either heaven or hell based upon your subconscious. Like based upon what you do, you could turn it. And I think that we are all immortal. I think that we live forever. You see, but we see other people die. We see them die. I also think that let's say you're skateboarding and then you fall down, but you barely make it, or a car almost hits you. You died. And then this is the one that made it. Like there's an infinite version of yourself doing the same thing, sort of. And the ones that make it, it's you. Like I've had many cases where I've almost died horribly. And it was like magical. Oh well, you barely made it. Yeah, because that one made it. And like you're learning over time. You're building this stack of knowledge. And I think the longer you live, the more obvious it is that you really are immortal, sort of. You know, except I think there's a difference. Some people are conscious. Some people are a part of the system. Like everyone that follows a niche or a trend or a clique or a cultural thing that say, I like Justin Bieber, I'm a Bieberite, and you have to dress like him and everything. Well, that person isn't really alive. They're being controlled, and everything that they like, and they're predictable. The predictable ones are less like alive. The unpredictable ones, not so much. It's all about what are you thinking about. You know what I mean? And the ones that are puppets, those guys, they are creating what they're supposed to create. Like the powers that be are making them create reality in a certain model by making them believe certain things. You create what you believe, and if we believe the same thing, we create the same thing. Now, let's say that I'm more powerful than you mentally, right? And I see something that you don't because I'm creating it. I'm daydreaming about a weird llama in front of me. And you say, hey, you see that llama? What llama? Right there. It's like, that's not a llama. Watch this. It's a llama. Wow, it is a llama. Because I just won, and I pulled you into my universe, and I killed the old you. It's like the old you is drifting on where it's split right there because I pulled you in. That's what I think it's all about. You see, and in that context, I really am you. It's just because you're making me and I'm making you, and I'm making the version of me that's making the version of you, and you're making the version of, anyway, all those sort of things. So in that context, you know, and that would explain Mandela effect sort of things, and coincidences, and luck, bad luck, and prayer, and everything, sort of. I also think it's very strange that we're both alive during this time right now, during sort of the singularity. You know, during our lifetimes, probably, I don't know how old you are, but, you know, the CPU, you know, games and everything just got made now, and in the past, like, 50 years or whatever, technology has skyrocketed to the point where we're creating reality now. It's just the odds of us making, like, within my lifetime, we will probably have a God consciousness in a machine and being able to replicate yourselves within my lifetime. And the odds of that happening are pretty damn zero, which means this is all fake. I mean, the odds of me being alive right now in this state of reality, very low. Therefore, it's all manufactured. It's all a dream. It's all a dream. A manufactured dream. It's just that when you sleep, you have total control, and when you wake up, you have shared control. But the secret is everybody has total control when they're awake. It's just internally you don't think you do, so you surrender control to the system. To manufacture what you're supposed to manufacture.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was a tricky talk. What was your Twitch?
Can you see my name right now? I think if you point at me and do the grip button.
I say so.
It's a goobarity. This whole thing was being streamed, so you can view the conversation afterwards.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was all third person.
You're gonna blow my mind.
Pointing
I
arms.
have a question.
Yes.
How do you run in this game? In this thing?
Are you on Oculus or Vive? Are you on the... Which one you want?
A desktop.
Oh, then Shift, maybe? I don't know. Shift does something else. Oh, you found it. You found it. You're just tapping random buttons.
It's
Yeah, so
pretty
you guys are
bad.
in VR, huh? Oh, you guys are in VR.
He's on desktop over there.
Yeah, the experience has to be improved a lot.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
issues.
Still pretty nice. It just has like edges.
Yes, some experiences my whole computer crashes. It's weird. So
Where are you from, guys? Are you in the expo, maybe?
I'm from California.
Yeah, that's Sorry.
I'm not at the expo. That would be cool though, if you see people at the expo. Yeah. So if a
He was
person's
just
in,
at the expo.
you were at the expo.
Oh,
He
he
was-
was.
You were? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he was at the expo.
Oh, I mean at the literal expo, at the real expo, at the expo, in the physical reality, on the physical plane, in the Earth
No,
realm.
no. Oh, no. Yeah, no way.
We are just in a dream.
Yep, just a dream. But don't say just a dream, because if everything's a dream, then the word dream loses all relevance and all meaning, because it's real, you know. I have some pretty darn real dreams, to tell you what. Some lucid dreaming, you know, where I've done lots of experiments with dreams while I was conscious, you know. And you have all your senses, you have all the sensations, it's all real. Real is real, real. I've talked to random people, I've gone online. Next time you have a lucid dream, go online and look something up. Blow your mind a little bit. Seriously. If you're,
Lucid dreaming.
if you're able to read. Sometimes it's really hard to read. But if you look stuff up online, man, while you're dreaming, find a laptop.
Wait, what?
While you're dreaming, in a lucid dream,
Uh,
go online and look something up that you don't know.
the fuck? That's like Pandora's box.
It's amazing.
I have an experience with that. I think maybe.
Yes.
There was one time when I was in a dream, not really sure if it was a lucid one,
Yeah.
but I looked up a book and I could read stuff like
Sweet.
it wasn't anywhere in my spec of knowledge. So it was rather interesting searching that
Yeah.
those paragraphs online in the real world.
Oh, yeah?
So like, is this real information or not?
You see? You
Well,
see?
it turned out that it wasn't actually real information, but it was interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe that's information in some plane, but not
Yes.
in this plane.
Well, I'd say it's potential information that you weren't powerful enough to manifest in reality. You weren't able to change entire universe. Like, let's say that I think that a country exists by a certain name and they have certain vegetables and everything, and I look it up, it doesn't exist. It's because I looked it up, and I looked it up because I wasn't confident enough. And because I wasn't confident enough, it's not real. If you're sure it's real, and then you just tell someone the name, and they say, oh yeah, I've been there, it just becomes real. And all of a sudden, let's say it is real, and you make it real. That implies that the entire planet has changed. Like the continental shifts and everything. The entire crust of the earth has changed from the beginning of time. You know, that's what it implies if you do change it. You know.
But I have only, a couple of things. I cannot do that, but I have a couple of sayings about all that stuff, and that is about the power onto others. You are changing their lives. So, what's in there? What are the rules? If everyone has the power to create,
Yes.
then
If everyone has the power to create, right, with their subconscious mind, creating everything that they see, by the way, it's just that you know stuff about the world quite a bit. You know how physics works, you know the history of things, you know how materials and companies, because you were born in Earth, and you know about all this stuff. And therefore, you create what you know. Like, you know about Doritos. Like, in your dream, it's not a bunch of flying unicorns and stuff. It's usually pretty real. Sometimes in your own house, but sometimes it's fantastical. You know what I mean? But it's usually real and normal. And everybody walks around doing stuff. Let's say that a person isn't speaking what they're saying. Sorry, they're not reiterating what they're seeing with their mouth. Like, I see a lamp, I see a dog, I see a tree. So you can't confirm it until you both are talking about the same exact thing. You say, hey, see that red tree? Which tree? That one right there. Which one? Come over here, I'll show you. Then all of a sudden it becomes red for that person. Sort of thing. Until you show someone else, you won't know. I mean, you're reading stuff all by yourself, walking around, going to work in your own little micro universe until you interact with somebody else.
that sounds like quantum physics.
Yes, like entanglement and what's the word where quantum particles lose entanglement through disturbance over time? There's a word for it. It's a C word or something. Where you have two entangled particles and you separate them, but then you nudge one other one because they're part of one system. You see, but once you nudge it, they lose that cohesion. Now they're separate things. You know, and I think everything happens that way. But at the macro scale, like groups of things, until you interact with it and pop that bubble of what's in the box, it becomes solid things all of a sudden. You know, it's like the whole Schrodinger's cat thing. That it's both, but it's literally that. And if that cat thing's real, everything operates. It's not just if you have a closed box with with some chemical that will decay into some poison over time, but it's random. Will the cat be alive or dead? We don't know. It's more than that. It's like until you open that door and open it up, it's anything behind that door. The second you open the door, the room cements into realization, and
And why is that? Why is that rule applying?
why is it so?
Yeah, why is it so?
Well, through personal experience and experiment and understanding about logical systems, I've determined that to be so. Like I've experimented with it, like with the ability to change the past. Like if a person wishes for something or prays, and it comes true, then they change the past in order for it to work out for them. Otherwise, it would have happened anyways. I mean, it's like if they say, "Oh, I hope I get this promotion," and then they get the promotion because something happened in reality. Well, that thing that happened in reality already was going to happen. You know what I mean? The past was moving along that chain. So if you made it happen, that means that you changed the past. If, in the context of prayers and wishes being real, if they're real. But it's more like I think what happens is positive or negative events happen to people, and then they think about that event, and they think negatively or positively, and then it works out for them or doesn't work out for them, based upon the composition of things. You know, it's like you are a. Well, see, it's weird because I was thinking of you as an actual biological person. I'm pointing at your body, about to talk about your body being real and stuff, but it's not real in this case.
Yeah, that's kind of confusing.
Your body isn't.
Baller.
Yeah.
Yo, so if you can like see the fourth dimension of time, then you can see everything, past, present, and future.
Yes. And like the way that would look would be like that stack up, like that example I gave you about the membrane and the bubbles and stuff like that. That's kind of like a four-dimensional model because the entirety of existence is one object. It's one object and it's already done. So you can look in the stack and see the past, the middle, future, but it's like, it's all one thing as a solid thing. Solid, non-moving thing, by the way, because movement and time is below the fourth dimension. So above the fourth dimension, there is no time. It's all, yeah.
Gravity.
Yeah, well, whatever gravity is. Whatever the hell gravity is.
What about this? What if there is someone or an individual or an entity or whatever that has infinite power? What if he... Well, you say that you can control everything. What if he decided to just delete everything?
We'll see. If he did that, we wouldn't be here. And then if he did...
Is that so?
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's say that person decided to, quote-unquote, delete everything. Or let's say neutralize everything. Or make everything equal. Because if a person makes everything equal and perfect, it loses all uniqueness, which means everything ceases to exist.
How about deleting everything and himself?
Well, let's say that he deletes everything. And he's like, I deleted everything. I did a good job. But like it'll just be this. It'll be like the sense of self and nothing. It'll be like you're meditating, basically. You delete everything all the time when you close your eyes and you're about to go to sleep, and then it just pops. It comes back.
But why can you meditate if there is nothing?
Yeah, but like nothing
you are
is
nothing.
something.
Well, you are nothing. Like it's just the aspect of existence, and then that aspect trapped into a biological thing with weird reference models and stuff. Like. When I smell cinnamon, I think about something because my brain works that way. Somebody else would think something else, and that forces my mind, the real me, to think about something. Like, the stuff is forcing me to think about stuff, which isn't really even me either. It's like forcing things to happen, and I'm just a weird passenger existing. Like, the words coming out of my mouth are automatic because that's what this guy says when he talks. And it's weird. You're just a passenger. I don't know.
I'm understanding that there is like... two different concepts, maybe, I don't know, two horizons, one where you exist, one where you exist as a material thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there is actual organization on the non-material side?
Do I think that there's what?
Okay, let's say the material plane it's like a dream.
Yeah.
The other side, do you think can we interact between other people, between other entities, or we are all part of the same thing.
So let's say that there's only one consciousness in reality, and that consciousness is filtered throughout all scales of what we call reality. And where every rock and tree and creature has the same consciousness, it's just when it's a frog, it thinks like a frog. It doesn't have much faculty. It knows, I have to exist. I'm hungry. That's dangerous. And it's like when you're a baby, you have certain feelings, but it's still you. It's just if you become a professor in 5 years about something, you know more about reality, but it's still you with extra knowledge. But you strip away everything, you have just one thing, and that thing I think is everything. And it's like trapped up in like you, me, and him. We're all the same person, but you have different thoughts right now. And you have different experiences because your body did different stuff, and it's like a different save file interacting with one another, and they think they're different. That's what it's kind of like.
Basically, it's like a hive mind. Like they talk about technology, and like if we're all connected, then they'll create like a hive mind.
Yeah.
Because all the information is like grouped together. So this is like it's part of one hive. But you're just like an individual bee, and it's like swarm.
I think we already sort of have a hive mind, like with the economy, and international politics, sort of, and our interest in that, because we're all sort of like already one kind of mind, but there's separate. It's like you could, it's like these are my dogs, but those dogs are licking themselves, and those dogs are like they're all still your flock of dogs, and they're all one set of things, and you have like let's say you have a stereotypical cartoon image of different kinds of things. This is what here's a bunch of different goofy people, like from the Disney Goofy dog human book. They're all different. Like the big fat one, the small one, but they're all sort of the same. Like a different dimension with little instances of difference in between. It's just weird that I can't. It's impossible for me to be inside your head right now. You know what I mean? It's weird. See, I'm trying to figure all this out because, I'm coming to this conclusion over time in my life that I'm trying to crack this code here, this big system.
I really think we are not. I do think we are from one single entity, but I think that the thing that makes us different is what really makes this physical world interesting.
It is, but I think the difference will go away over time. It's just inevitable. I mean, the only thing that makes us different is because we're from different geographical locations. Because we don't share the same three-dimensional space, and our sensory perception is trapped based upon location. That's the only thing that makes us different. If you're born in like Tennessee, you're gonna be a Tennessean liking like horses and shit. Excuse my language. That's who you're gonna be. It's like you're born that way, and that's your personality now, quote unquote. You're a mirror to your environment. I don't see people as people. I see them as nexuses of their experiences. Like you're an experience nexus. You're an experience nexus. I'm one too, and now we're forming one mind of like let's say that you are actually God, right? And then that we are agents of reality, giving you information so that you could then build it better. And that my job as another God is to give you information so that you could build it better so that you don't mess up my reality. Because if I don't do that, then you can make a crack in the road. You can make my car blow up by accident. You could not like something that I like. So we have to be on the same page. It's in everybody's best interest to make everybody make the same reality. Otherwise, you have hurricanes and stuff blowing up, stuff breaking down. Stuff could be perfect if everybody was on the same page. Maybe that's just it.
We will
You'll
never
use the force carefully.
I think we will never be able to make exactly the same as human entities. So it's a bit weird that we are working together to make the same reality.
Well, let's say that over time you start replacing biological parts that break down entropy, right? Your kneecaps, your legs, your heart, your lungs, everything except for your head, and then your face and your neck and your everything but your frontal lobe, right? Eventually, let's say that. Or you get enhancements and upgrades. Eventually you replace every last little cell in your brain. And now you have, in the future sometime, everybody will have equal access to information, and we'll be able to go anywhere through virtual technology, teleportation thing, because your body doesn't really matter anymore. You could exist in a system or not. You could transfer your body from one to another. You could trust it eventually. I think we'll be able to trust that I really am that jet when I'm in the jet. Like, that's me. I mean, then but I'm also over there. You could go back and forth. I think eventually, it's inevitable. It's just a very long time from now.
Well, we're talking about the future.
Yes. Very long
I
time.
actually do think that we are going into the collective mind, especially with all the artificial intelligence thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be a long time because understanding the brain and the implications of human digitalization.
Well, I think I don't know about, because with with neural networks, all that stuff, being able to scan a bunch of instances of the same thing and then finding information that makes things like that you could look at a pile of data, then find out trends and patterns and everything. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to figure it out pretty fast, especially once we do like the direct neural interface with like a lot of different VR headsets are thinking about doing that in the future. Like Facebook is, for example, with this thing that goes in your head that uses light, because the cells of your brain can react to light or sugar, and it uses red light to go into your brain and then do stuff. Yeah.
I actually was reading about that and how it was a long post about how scientists expect to develop the technology to actually input information into the brain,
Yeah.
or backward, or the backward process, and they expected around 100 years. That's probably gonna be around 50 years if artificial intelligence gets developed fast. But I don't know. I'm just
But see,
a random deal.
so let's say that over time the neural networks get better and better and better. At a certain point, it gets infinitely better. Like it goes from the iterations start to become extremely exponentially better from one another. That's what they're going to do, and then they'll start making themselves very, very soon. They already are doing that. That's how they work. That's how we don't know how they work. It's just you give them a pile of data. Oh, we know how they work, but we don't know what the code is. There is no code. It's just an array of things. It's just a neural network. Like eventually, it trains itself. That's how it works. And then eventually, it'll be running everything. We won't know how it works. It'll be like a living thing, basically, that we made a long time ago.
But it will be based on computer power also. It will have its limitations. So also there is people saying that the Moore law is harder to complete.
And then we transition over to a whole different spectrum of things. Quantum computing. It's like the second it goes to the end, then it pops, and then something else takes over. The tire is going away. We can only go so fast with rubber tires, and you make a different kind of tire. The end. If a person the rubber tire can only go so fast, every year it'll go faster and faster and faster with better technologies. But then one day it'll pop, and then you make a ceramic tire. That's what happens. Or you make something else beside. You make a foot. You make a whole different paradigm that is the same spectrum. A locomotion system that isn't a CPU. You know what I mean? That's all. The processor in the normal way will eventually be too dense because of the interference of electrons and everything. It's only so small it could be, and that's the limit. But if you don't use that sort of technology, then you're good to go. You have a whole new...
about the Dyson sphere, I think that's what it's called.
Around a sun?
Yeah, it's an awesome show. Or in the future, our sun will eventually run out of energy, so we'll wrap it around in the exoskeleton of solar panels or some shit.
Yeah.
And all the consciousness that existed when the Earth existed is now computerized into a simulation of what it was.
Sure. Because over time, the goal is to extract energy so that you could move that energy forward to do our purpose, which is to make things more complex and remove entropy. Over time, you will eventually use all the energy. The whole type 1, type 2, type 3 civilizations of type 1 is use all the energy from a planet, type 2 is use all the energy from a solar system, type 3 is use all the energy from a galaxy. I mean, Star Wars was the type 2.5 or whatever the hell it is, and Star Trek is above type 1, right in that. We're below type 1 because we're not even using geothermal and wind and waves as much as we should. Eventually we'll figure all that out, and then eventually we'll go to the sun and get all that out and get all the planet's energy out too, so we could push it forward and make more stuff to conquer more things and stop the universe from dying.
Instead of having the Dyson sphere, maybe we could just terraform into another solar system.
Yeah.
And when are we gonna know the truth about your dreams? Are humans ever gonna have the necessary tools to infer into the truth?
Maybe they'll have like a technology that will like see like the afterlife. I think you can like choose to.
Well, you maybe stop dead, but you cannot. You maybe not be able to look what's after death,
Hey, check that out.
or maybe there is just another energy you are not aware of. I mean,
Is that a real person?
I think so.
yeah. Come here. Don't go.
I like your outfit. It's like glowing and stuff.
The footsteps and like it just sounds creepy.
I know. You hear someone walking in the distance over there somewhere. I like that this is like a shared space. You know, people just come and go. It's pretty awesome. It's
So
not like
VR chat is.
yeah, that's awesome too.
It's way more fast paced though. Like you can run around like really fast and shit.
I'll check it out. It's free, right?
Yeah.
It's on Steam or something. Yeah, I'll check it out. I think I installed it. I just never went into it. I have a bunch of. I've been doing Fallout 4 VR quite a bit. That's what I mainly do on streaming. You know, because it's amazing. You can get really role playing into it and everything because it's a big old open world. It's amazing. I think it's the best thing out for VR. It's just kind of glitchy here and there, and the graphics are in. And lots of problems with the controls. But once you get over all that, it's basically like a Matrix sort of thing because it's a whole world. You know. And every NPC talks to you and looks at you and has facial animations and they have deep layered conversations and stuff. It's amazing. You get lost up in that thing. Yeah, so I've been putting stuff like VR chat on the side and a couple other things. Like this thing, I was putting this on the side for a while, or you know, the Sansar concept.
Yeah, virtual reality is. I like it because it's very immersive.
Yeah, you feel like you're in virtual reality right now. It's like the way that you're talking, your mouth is moving, and you're like your hands are barely moving and everything. It's making you. It's pretty awesome.
Well, obviously, with the devices you are using, it's easier to get immersive. I'm in a desktop environment, and obviously, I cannot. I just see in the third person, so it's not that immersive. But I have.
This is real good kinematics right here.
It's different when you're like actually immersed because of like the presence of the environment. Like
Yeah, being able to
It's
move your head back
powerful.
and forth.
Yeah, it's powerful.
I wish they made our characters crouch and everything, you know, like, because I'm crouching right now, actually. But my head doesn't lower. Like, my
Yeah,
head
they-
just,
oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah. If you
That
crouch, it won't do
animation,
it.
it's lacking.
Yeah, it's not doing it, yeah.
In
So
the other
my
floor,
head's actually where my stomach is then.
Yeah.
I think I can like glitch it like this. Pretty sure you cannot do that. But,
I could do this, but I can't move around as fast. Hold on, wait, hold on.
oh, teleporting.
Once you have like actual
You can teleport.
games, then this will like be way better. Like activities and shit.
Hey, I think in the CES thing, there was like I heard that there was like a country movie, whatever, that they filmed in VR or whatever, something like that. I was in the CES room and they said, and also check out our Western experience where we have a movie that was filmed for VR where you can really get in there and check it out.
It's probably the Intel Studios thing.
Oh,
They did like a Western movie,
yeah, that I didn't see.
or no, more like a scene, but it's like 30 seconds long. It's pretty bad, to be honest. I don't think.
Is it
that's-
actually VR or is it like a?
It's VR. If you are in VR, you can go to any point
Okay, good.
in the scene. Okay, it works, but as an immersive experience, it's rather lacking. Well, it depends because in the future, movies are gonna probably be like you are the actor, or you can watch from any
Yeah.
point you want, or it may be holographic.
I think it'll be.
Nuts.
I think it'll be vaguely interactive where you are a character in the movie and you have minor roles to do at certain times. Like it'll be mainly that you're kind of there, but then they'll say, "Hey, come on, let's go!" Like where you're just like a passive person, and they're kind of talking to you, and they say, "Come on, let's go!" And they're here, grab this and shoot. Like there's a certain scene where you gotta shoot a bunch of stuff at once. I don't know. It'll probably be like that.
That
with a bunch
sounds
of storyline.
more like a game.
Well, I think games and movies will start to like be Well, movies are all going to be interactive, and the second a movie's interactive is the game. So what is a game, really? Game is just a simulation of reality.
Well, I mean, they're just like CGI versus actual humans.
Well, eventually, I think it's going to be the CGI. It's going to be motion capture, where a person. It's going to be using really good CGI and motion capturing and AI to synthesize any sort of emotion, and because they already have it right there, like a lone echo. There's some really good stuff, and I think eventually the actor will just sell a digital copy of themselves, and that's able to be used in movies and everything with really high.
They'll be used in movies. They'll be used in like adult sites.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of scary though.
I like where it is all going, to be honest.
Can't use someone.
I just hope it all becomes performance ready pretty fast.
It'd be
so
cool if
everyone
they
can have it.
Well, it'd be cool if they had like spaces like Times Square where they have cameras and stuff where they make a certain space be captured, including the people too, and they should have no objection to it because you're in public. Okay, you walk through that little square, you're being captured, and then you're being scanned like with photogrammetry, you know, creating models, and then it's touched up with AI to make it look nice and polished, and then you can visit that space, you know, in that. Maybe the floor has like a glass on it, whatever, or you could, hey, there's a person standing there. A person walking in reality will say there's a person standing there. Well, eventually you'll have like augmented reality where you could share the space. You could go there physically or virtually, and you'll feel like it's the same location, I think. I mean,
But that's kind of like Black Mirror level because someone can pause that and then they can like walk around and then like let people like do nasty shit, you know?
yeah, that's it. Well, see, that's just how it is. You could do next to a picture. You could take a camcorder and like imagine things, and you could like take a picture of somebody. With the picture, though, you
This is like the whole like reality, like recreating reality and being able to like, it would be manipulative. It can like
Sensory
manipulate it.
problems.
well, you just gotta have the right protocols and security. If there was like one operating system, like if Google Earth was so advanced that you could like go to any location and see live people walking around in public spaces, but maybe walk up to a store and make an order, because all the shopkeepers will have the glasses on, and then you could see virtual and non-virtual people. You could, send it to my house, and then like half the customers are fake and half of them are real. It might be like that. I don't know, walking around and stuff like that, and
Those are like ghosts, like the people that are out in the world are real, and then like people who are at home are like ghost versions of themselves in the real world.
yes.
You know what's funny about that you said? That we are in the set of a movie that actually has all of that
Yeah, the Oasis
in
system.
the setting. Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, which is great that they have this level of polish for something like that, because that movie's going to make VR be really big on the map and really desirable, you know. And then you got to have them. I want them to create the Oasis or something like that. Well, in that thing, everybody got VR glasses as a part of like you're in America, you get some VR glasses, or I think the whole world. And then the school system was all in VR, you know, and free to everybody. And
So like the people on the street I saw in like the trailer, like, and they have headsets on. Are they like aligned in some other simulation? Like, what are they seeing?
I think I don't think in that book at least there wasn't like an augmented reality just walking around and I'm seeing stuff. It's like you jack into the Matrix or whatever you call it, and then you leave, and then you walk around in reality. But they don't really walk around in reality. There's not really a need to. They have better technology where you can have food delivered to you. Like no one really goes outside as much. You know, it's like at one point he has to like leave his house and go around and do stuff. At that point, you know.
It's like the light.
Oh, the thing is, Oasis is the cheapest way for governments to run their countries.
Yeah.
Like you can do everything in digitalize it, and you just need people to make the stuff up, designers and programmers.
Holy shit.
Like
Oh
whole
my
schools. In Oasis, they have whole schools. The
Yeah.
education system is all online and in virtual reality, and that's pretty cheap. You don't have to.
Yeah. You don't have to build a
building
freaking
stuff.
building and hire people like the janitors and everything, and like the upkeep, the grass and the maintenance and the pipes and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
You move to an area, you get some new glasses for the school district or wherever it is, and you return it after you're done, and something like that. That'd be awesome. And then, like for a lot of jobs, I think when robots get better, we'll be able to work in a job through VR. I mean, like a hazardous job where they want like a human level responsibility over it. That's sort of dangerous, but not really. But eventually, the AI will be better than people with responsibility, like self-driving cars and everything.
EA is probably better than people right now.
People get distracted quite a bit, and they're stupid, and they have cognitive issues, and this is a problem.
Yeah, of course. I do think that the problems of EA are going to be ever is gonna be there, because they cannot feel. You can emulate feelings, but you cannot.
That AI who has like citizenship in Saudi Arabia.
The what?
There's an AI in Saudi Arabia that has like official Earth citizenship.
Huh. That's awesome.
And the locals are mad about it because a synthetic woman has more rights than a real human woman.
Well,
That's crazy.
I didn't get any of that, but anyways, I think this is pretty cool. The future is pretty cool. I just hope the gaming part to be developed soon.
Yeah.
I hope I am part of it. That.
Yeah, they like for the games, there's a bunch of games out, but nothing is really like mind-blowing yet. There's a bunch of really good stuff, but they're all short. They're all very, very short, or they're wave shooters, or they're something like that, or like or their experiences, Nothing's really big, like Fallout 4 VR, but that's like a mod on a thing. If you're paying full price for some old game, but it's still good. I'm waiting for.
There is a big problem with VR right now, and that is movement. As simple as that. Movement is a problem.
Yes, yes. Like there's a bunch of different options out there. A bunch of games just stick doing teleportation. Like this one's doing, because people get sick, I guess. Like people get sick doing this. This is ridiculous. I have my VR legs. I guess so does he. You're using a stick, and you're not using your legs and everything. But in Fallout 4 VR, you could walk, run, jump, right? And I'm using the left thumbstick, but I'm jogging in place. I jog in place whenever I do it, and then I kind of bunny hop whenever I jump, and I move left and right whenever I dodge, and I go to my knees. Of course, it feels like I'm running. It really does feel like I'm running. I get like a little workout too because I'm jogging in place. You're running across the map at full speed. If I go faster, I run faster. If I go slower, I go slower. It's just like walking in place. Your brain thinks it's real. Personally, I don't know. It's like being in a wheelchair with legs, like with robot legs. You eventually, those are your legs. Even if you're using a little joystick, if you're in Man in the Iron Giant with a joystick, those are your legs. It's the same exact thing. It's like saying
VR is just lying to the mind and making it believe it's somewhere else.
Yeah, they just haven't got like Echo Arena. You saw the exhibit out there in the CES room with the discs and everything. That one has perfect locomotion because it's 0G, and you're just grabbing stuff and pushing off, and you have momentum and you drift. You can push off other people. You can push off slingshot yourself, grab, and you have these thrusters on your hands, or you fly a little bit. It's really good. But of course, you're not really walking, but it feels completely real. You can hold one object and it's kind of drift for a bit. You can see your whole body. Like we can't see our bodies if we look down, which is sad.
I can't see what I look like right now.
Well, you can go third person if you press something on your right stick, on your right controller. For me, I press in on my right stick to go third person. In fact, I'm actually right over there. I'm right there right now. I'm standing here looking at myself, seeing you and him.
Well, the vibe is different, I guess. It's still in beta.
Well, if you press something, the controls... here, I'll find it out for you. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
I found a way to teleport in the desktop mode, but I'm not really...
Sansar Vive controls.
According to Centers for Disease Control...
Shut up. I don't feel like doing that right now. you press a button on one of your controls, and then it shows you the controls, but it opens up a browser. And let me just try to do that really quick. There you go, view in browser. I'll tell you in a second what your button is for your thing.
Yeah, I actually opened that to...
Yep.
Arrow keys, double press...
double press your left trackpad to go forward, to run forward.
F3. Okay,
Oh.
I have to press F3.
To go third person.
There you go. I'm in first person now. I can see you guys.
Huh. How do you go third person? Okay,
F3.
no, for the Vive. Third person.
Oh.
Rotate the camera. Move forward, back, left, right. Bring up the teleport beam. Close.
Well,
I don't know.
these
It's
movement
weird.
issues are gonna be resolved pretty soon, I know.
Yeah.
Also
And
the nausea stuff.
It's very wonky as well. Like the way that my hands are, there's these transparent blue things, and they don't move their hands. Oh, it feels very wonky at times, and when I move around, sometimes I kind of drift left and right a little bit.
That's physically impossible, but it's good.
Let's do some exercises. And really.
I don't have any arms, sorry.
Oh.
They're gonna have like meetings for this. Like,
Yoga stuff. Yeah, that'd be good. Well, you just gotta have full body tracking. That's another thing. Like, our whole body isn't tracked. We can't touch stuff. The second that our actual feet are tracked, it'll be a lot more immersive. Because I'm like,
VOD trackers.
oh yes, yes. Well, the game just has to support it.
That's what people do in VR chat.
Well, that's awesome. It supports it.
Yeah, so people are like,
That's
they're laying
awesome.
on the ground, doing
VR chat
cartwheels.
is
That's awesome.
VR chat is having their best of their time
Yeah,
right now. It's hot. It's the
Oh,
thing
yeah,
everyone is
totally.
trying.
yeah. Because of the thing, that
But
damn.
everyone's like moving so fast that like there's a lot more humor to like the pace of like the worlds. Like there's like 3,000 people on it at a time, you know.
That's good.
It's pretty funny. That's pretty much it for me. It's fun, and games are supposed to be fun, and VR
Yeah.
chat is a game.
Totally.
Well, do
And
they
you
have
can be anything there.
games
so-
in there, or just like, are there any interactable things in that world?
Yeah.
Do you have like tools? Can you make a gun or something? Can you make a prop?
You can like program a gun into your avatar and then
You can make almost everything, I think. I haven't played it myself.
Okay, so you can make stuff in VR chat.
yeah, using Unity.
Okay, so you import it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like people download like avatars off Models Resource,
Yeah.
like off old video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the avatars are more custom. Like this right now, this is just Sansar's world, but like VR chat is like the fictional world.
Yeah.
It's basically the Oasis.
Yeah. Man. That's how
Yeah,
Indieland
VR
is too.
VR chat is pretty close to what Oasis will look in, like an interface type of thing, but obviously it lacks a lot of functionalities. It's just really some place to hang around with other people.
Well, I guess the difference between Anyland and VR chat is that in Anyland you can't import anything. You can export though. So every person's avatar, you know for a fact that they made it, and some look really really good, even though it looks kind of bad graphics. But they made this awesome with functionality, like with animations. Like a person has like a transforming outfit where like these bee arms come out and like these sensors come up with sound effects and everything. And you make it in the game. You make it all easily with really awesome controls, and it's really easy to do. It's all like it's all push button based contextual programming. So it's really easy.
That's,
And,
Well,
that's in the aesthetic though.
the users are the ones that are making the content. So
I know,
yeah,
but they import stuff though. Like I don't know if you made it's a certain value when you know for a fact the person made this really awesome Ninja Turtles outfit. Like I made a cool vampire.
I saw some
front
like
eyes.
I saw some dude like sketch out his own avatar and then like recreated it in like a 3D program and then
Nice.
imported it into Unity So it's like you can create something totally custom.
See,
Like
that's
your
the.
own concept.
See, I would like to do that in Anyland to have this higher fidelity, so you can actually make what you want, get some good assets, like put some dinosaurs out there, whatever, make a cool movie scene, you know, which you can't
Basically,
do.
if you could take Unity and recreate it for VR, then that's basically it.
Yeah, like Anyland is just like that with the limitation of you can't import things, which forces you to be creative and having to make everything. And then you could give anything to anybody else. So you say, hey, what do you have? And they say, well, I got this really cool thing if you want it. It's a gun that opens up into 5 barrels and shoots stuff across the room and stuff like that. So people trade stuff and it forms a community. You could make a copy of anything, put it into your inventory, you pull this thing out. And
Yeah, I think you can do that. So
I know,
that's
but the difference is you can cheat and get something from the internet. It's cheating, sort of. It's
Well, I
like you're
mean,
forced to be super weird creative with this blank slate and this
Well,
well,
little
you can be
thing.
creative with Unity though, because Unity is like a 3D program that creates like worlds like these.
Well, I know that, but you're not doing it in VR. Is the problem? The thing is, it's not like being able to create in the world. Like I want to make a head, so I'm making a head standing right here with the cubes and stuff and the vertices, and you're shaping it and making it blink and stuff, and then I put it on my head.
But once you have like an app like Unity in VR, then pretty much it's limitless because if it connects to VR chat, then you can import anything you create in Unity.
Yep.
well, what you're talking about is more of a game mechanic than anything.
Well, yeah,
La crafting system.
Yeah, like it's like the whole. It determines the philosophy of the whole world. Like you go to someone's world in Anyland, you have this big old mansion, all kinds of stuff, all the trees. You know that they probably made all those trees, all the swaying trees, and all the water and everything. You walk up to their house, and they're actively making something sitting on their fake couch. Like there's usually a person is making something in Anyland, and like, what are you making? I'm making this cave system, and they're like flying around making a cave in the thing, as opposed to like
Oh.
importing. Like everyone's an artist in Anyland, versus in VR chat you're just a troll that found a way to get something. It's like
That's the fun of it, because it's very casual. Yeah, there is no work involved. That's why it's
I
popular
know,
right now.
which creates a different atmosphere. Like if you have, let's say you have 10 people that have been doing VR chat for a while versus 10 people that have been doing Anyland for a while, they're all artists and intense artists versus, hey, I found this new asset online. It's the same sort of like ballpark of finding assets online and cool stuff and everything like that, but hey, check out this cool, I could turn into a werewolf now when I press this button on my arm. And they have this weird transforming thing that they made in the thing. It's cool.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, really having a real reality in the virtual world.
Yeah. It feels completely real because you never have to leave to make something. And you're making so you're able to spend hours and hours and hours just sitting there, either like walking around your little worlds you're making, adding another tree on the spot by creating it and like modifying things, not like pulling something from a library. Like you have a library of things that you're making. And I was making a world for a while, and I got vaguely famous for it for about a couple seconds because I made a recreation of my living space when I was using the Vive, my little futon and my TV and the table, all in the right spots, like from scratch. You don't have to find. See, the thing is, you're able to make whatever you want in the world without leaving it, so you can get the true scale. Like, so for example, I would get I made a little bobby pin, or like a little thumbtack in the VR thing, and I'd walk up to like the objects and mark it in the physical space that you couldn't really do if you're doing it in Unity. You know what I mean? Because you're doing it in reality. Like, you want to make something, I get the actual object, and I'm holding it in my hands while I'm making the object trace around it with the thing. Then you put it back on the ground and walk around and everything, and people would visit me all the time and like say, what are you making? And they'd make something next to me sitting there all the time. It's like they're sitting on the floor, a person sitting over there watching YouTube on the fake TV, and it's pretty great. But the
It's
graphics
like
are,
a copy of the real world.
yeah, that you're making. But like it has the rules of you can only make. I like rules in VR. It adds a tangibility. Like for example, the Steam VR Home versus Oculus Home. Steam VR Home, you get a bunch of props and stuff from just playing a game, and all the time it has like it's a different sense too. In Oculus, the objects you have to like kind of earn them to a certain degree, and you can't copy them. You can't make a bunch of copies. There's only one thing. Like some things you make copies, other things you can't make copies. You have just one, and you can't resize it either. Because you can't resize it, and because you can't make copies, it makes it into like an actual thing. And you can lose it too. If you can lose it in your head, like, where the hell's my thing? You have to look around and find it and stuff. No. Having limitation, I think, like having entropy, creates a sense of reality.
I just hope everything goes into having more fun in the games, because actually I'm a really hardcore MMO player, or
Yep.
I was,
Sweet.
and right now it's lacking. This world is lacking.
Yep.
Yes, this fantasy world is lacking pretty much in
Yep.
a sense of it doesn't really gives you the experience you're searching for.
I agree.
And well, I'm really hoping for virtual reality to explode this new type of immersive media.
Yep. Which MMO you're playing? Or like your big one that you were playing in the past, or like which?
I play a lot of World of Warcraft. That was like probably the first experience that I felt like it was really immersive.
Yeah, me too. Because I played that from well, I don't play now. I haven't played for a bit actually, since the last expansion or two. But you know, like, I read a lot of the books when I was deployed. When I was in the army, I would read a lot of the books when I couldn't play the game. So when you go back to the game, you know about this lore and stuff, and the game would show you these things, and you really take your time in these worlds. Very immersive.
Yeah, and also in the graphic stuff, because I was playing 2D MMOs and like entering a real world and looking around and seeing everything, seeing the forest, the NPCs, the huts, the houses, the cities. It felt more real.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I said like, oh, this is a living world, and I can interact with everything that it's here. And then the game just sucked, because everything that was exploring, everything that was like do anything you want, this is your world to explore, it died out. It was just your theme park, and theme parks are not really that fun.
Yeah, it's like, well, they keep adding stuff to that world to make it more things to do and more responsibilities. Like when you have the professions like leatherworking or something, you know that, okay, now I need to go down to Draenor to go farm some elk up on the hill. So you have to go fly there. It feels real because you're actually flying there. You land, you kill a bunch of animals, you skin them, you leave. All that stuff makes it feel pretty real.
And it was difficult. It was hard for you to have something that was really valuable, and that was what make it fun, what make it worth playing. And well, they made the game very casual, and that's probably why I stopped playing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are concerned about just getting the end level. You know what I mean? A lot of players just want to get to the end, and they call the questing like the grind. And they don't like questing, they don't like exploring. They just want to get to the raids and the quests in the dungeons, you know. So then the game developers start making the game around that concept of giving you the end content as fast as possible, or getting these fast, like, get to a level 100 now, buy the thing. So like, you know, it's all about just dungeons and not so much the world. It's like,
You'll follow me. You guys follow me.
Where'd you go? There.
Over here. By the Iron Giant.
Whoa.
Once you hop onto the hand,
Whoa, you did it.
you can hop onto his neck.
Oh my Lanta, you did it. You found the secrets. Whoa, can you go inside? I wonder if you can.
Yo.
Whoa, that's amazing. It's amazing. I want to go inside. You go walk around them. It's amazing. This is pretty awesome.
Inside, you just.
Oh, you're just walking there. Oh, there's nothing though. Oh, well, I'm gonna go. I think you're supposed to. Can you go inside of his chest? You can control the thing. What is that stuff down there? No, that's not. That's not a chair. I thought it was like a chair or something. It's just all the gears and everything inside of his body.
Well, after all, this is just a model, so don't expect everything from it.
Well, I thought that maybe they would have it in the movie where he controlled it by getting inside like a mech. But that's not what you do with the Iron Giant.
Yeah, this is just for show. Anyway, WoW was very fun, but sadly, the experience was keep getting lower and lower. So I eventually left it. Then tried other games. Was really having the breakthrough here is virtual reality. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah.
Because when I tested virtual reality, I just felt it. Like this is how virtual worlds should be played.
Yeah, like being able to like, oh, I don't know if you can even see my character bend forward and look. Yeah, you can't. Like I'm actually bending forward and looking around the thing, but my head's not doing it, which is sad. You know, you actually bend up in there and look at stuff. Bend up in there and look at the stuff.
Yeah, that's all technical stuff, and obviously this software is just made.
It's pretty awesome.
It's a standard, I guess, because the engines that are made to develop VR can also do this. It's pretty well done, though.
Yep.
I can't hear my own footsteps, but I can hear you guys' footsteps.
What is that? Oh, oil paint. What's that? Is this Darth Maul's lightsaber or something? No, it's not. It's like a two-sided lightsaber or something like that. It's not round at the end, it's all... I feel like that's a lightsaber? No, I don't know.
Damn. Guys, that was cool meeting you guys.
Alright, man.
Been on here for a while.
Alright, peace out.
See ya.
So...
Actually, this is maybe an official... Well, this is an official piece of...
Yeah, they worked really well with Warner Brothers to make it as accurate as possible, is what the sign says in the front. Or online it says that too, that and they said that there's extra stuff in here that's not in the movie. That this is the actual stuff that they used in the movie, like all the assets, and like this whole garage scene, they'll be in here in the movie at one point, and they'll be showing them there, but now you can look over there, and they made all that just in case, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be in the movie.
Yeah, there's a sign somewhere that's talking about it. I think there's a sign up there and a sign back there that says it.
I mean, the exit, maybe.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. Yep. So interpreted from the original island design. Interpreted. It's not exact. Oh, there's another ship right there.
It has a lot of details.
Yeah, there are. I think that's Pee Wee Herman's bike right here. This Pee Wee Herman's bike. Are you Pee Wee Herman's bike? Alrighty. I'm gonna check.
This movie is gonna be the reference movie.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be full of. Have you read the book? Do you know about the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, the book.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Immersive in another sense of the word.
Hey, look, it's Doctor Who's call box there. Yep. I mean, if you're, I can't wait for the additional VR experiences to come out for this movie. The website said that this is just the first of many VR experiences that they have planned for the movie. This isn't really experiences, this is a location because you can't really do anything and nothing's happening, but still.
Yeah, something more interactive maybe.
That guy is tall as fuck. It's a tall dude.
Nice. Oh, these are the legs.
Yeah, really tall.
I didn't notice it.
I didn't notice it was like cut in half. Hey, is that right here from 2001: A Space Odyssey? Or is that from a different movie? You know?
I have no idea, really.
There's a scene where the main star of the movie was trapped outside the spaceship, and the AI system HAL wouldn't let him inside. He's like, "Let me open up the bay doors, HAL." "I can't do that, Dave. I'm sorry." I think he was inside that spaceship. Maybe.
That may be true.
"I can't do that, Dave. I'm sorry, Dave." This is from RoboCop. Pretty sure.
Oh I recognize that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool being able to see movie assets in real scale, which is really awesome.
That's true. I hope I had something to light up this place.
Yeah, they should give us flashlights. Probably in the future we'll have tools and stuff, you know? So I could use a flashlight to point at stuff. Where are the secrets? Let me in. That doesn't make no sense. Why would a person ever have a shelf at the top of a staircase? Never. There's a machete over here. For some reason. Oh, we gotta teleport behind you. There it goes. Alright. Oop. 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 Yeah, I saw that sports exhibit thing. It said it's called like True VR for the sports and everything for football. It wasn't VR. It's just a 180 3D video. I mean, it gives you the sense of being in VR, but they shouldn't use the word like true VR or real VR. Just call it VR.
No, it's true VR. Just that they are showcasing it like that because of technical things.
Well,
because, like streaming through VR is probably impossible right now.
Well, like I'm like this is true VR, sort of, but being able to take a real life sports event and make that in the real VR, that would involve making 3D models of every single character and like.
Yeah, that could be possible.
Or using photogrammetry.
Input the data,
well, if you use multiple cameras, you can get a point cloud and just get people, you know, captured. The photogrammetry thing has been used quite a bit for different VR things. Like there's a Buzz Aldrin thing to Mars where you can see Buzz Aldrin like an actual person talking like a hologram. They just use a bunch of cameras from different angles to get a point cloud, you know, and it works. It's just it's kind of lower resolution. That's the only problem. It's kind of point cloudy.
Intel project with sports is a real thing. I'm not sure how they're going to manage that.
Well,
because the CEO of Intel explained it in the keynote.
Okay.
How it worked. He said something about voxels. Instead of pixels, voxels are the things that are like
okay, good. Yeah.
the space.
Like a three-dimensional. Okay, so it really is that, and then they're using that data to do because that video looked like a straight-up 3D video wrapped in a half screen is all it was. Like a 3D video.
The one with the round screen.
Yeah, that thing.
That was sad.
Well, like Facebook has these Facebook 360 surround cameras, and like they're industrial scale. They're supposed to use them for like real things to capture stereoscopic 3D 360 video, which isn't really VR because you can't move your head. You can't move your head forward, back, left, right. It's just you're there, and it only works from one angle, and you have a loss of immersion. What they want to do?
That's easy. Actually, Intel said that that's already implemented because that's it. It's a camera.
Yeah.
It's a point of view, and you can have multiple point of views in a sport event. But what they explained with the voxels is that they actually like analyzed all the data, all the players doing the movement, and then they simulated it in real time.
Well, good.
So and he said the CEO that it was around 4 terabytes of data.
That's
a
good.
minute.
Because
So
that's how it
it's
should
really hard to stream that kind of content.
I think in the larger football stadiums, they're going to have that technology a little bit better, maybe, where they have a big old data room in the basement. Who cares how big that bitch is? Excuse my language. And using point cloud data with a bunch of different, getting the voxels, with the point cloud, the different angles, and then recreating it with a simulation using like the video game technology, it's already pretty good. But if you match that with actual quote unquote motion capture, captured from, it's like motion capture, it's just motion capture, and it becomes a real thing. So it is a real football game. It's just you want to see exactly what happened. You're not seeing their finger placement, but you're seeing their exact body, sort of.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things with that. You could actually save the game and then reproduce it in another stadium with holograms. You could actually do that.
Yeah. Well, how would you do the holograms though?
Well, that's just another technology, but you have data. You have
Yes.
every single position of every single thing in the entire
Yeah. Well,
field.
that's good. Because they're already doing something like that for the first and 10 line, and some of the markings on the field, they're all fake. It's all computer graphics because they know the dimensions of the field and they could delete the players. But they weren't like mapping the players or anything. But they mapped the field. They already had the field mapping technology for a very long time now for the first and 10 line, like the markings and the advertisements in the field.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Actually, that's probably the first. How it's called, augmented reality.
Yeah, we've been using that for.
application.
It's
Yeah.
quite impressive. Like I watch it sometimes, and their bodies are going over that line, and it's like perfect. There's no weird issue. It's because they know the dimension and the depth of the field and the players above it. So using multiple cameras, they delete the player. Something weird like that. But yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're able to watch a basketball game or football game in VR and like pause it and rotate it, and I want to watch from over here now and see the football being caught over your head, and I want to watch from over here now. I think it'll be like pay-per-view packages. Maybe will be you pay a lot to watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna be implemented really soon. Actually, the CEO also mentioned that it was already implemented, and and he was going to, Intel was going to stream the Olympic Games, the Winter Olympic.
Good.
So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's probably the future of entertainment. But the thing is, not a lot of people has VR sets.
You're right. That's the problem.
So that's
The
probably
distribution
biggest
model.
problem.
And
Yeah.
because like the biggest market is actually the mobile VR users, which isn't really VR because it's only 3 degrees of freedom. You still get the whole, oh, I can see everything around me, but you can't move your head back and forth, which is weird. And you can't go up and down, which is weird. And so
Eventually, I think the devices will be able to simulate perfectly, exactly as Oculus or the Vive can do it, just without the resolution, or maybe the smoothness, or whatever. But it will get to a point where it's practical.
like right now, this is. Let's say that this was a space that was captured with photogrammetry, a bunch of cameras. This is the actual location, cameras everywhere, and it's that is the actual thing. And you go, and you are an inspector. If you're an inspector, and your job is to inspect warehouses, this is completely practical, because it's real. And like, you can't see me bend down, but I'm able to bend down and look at the corners of this thing, and all around, and just like you would if you're in real life. I guess you could do that with a normal computer as well. But the thing is, so virtual reality should be, you shouldn't need glasses for virtual reality. Like on a normal 2D computer or a 3D computer, if you're watching a captured space in the thing, that's virtual reality, because you're interacting a character in a virtual space that is recreated from reality. Sort of.
And what is the space created originally in virtual reality?
Well, this isn't a real location, but if there was a space that was shared, then like right now, So you're in virtual reality right now because I'm in virtual reality, and you're able to interact with the person in virtual reality, and you're in a virtual reality space. It says that you don't have the headset on, and even a normal computer game like a World of Warcraft, that's kind of virtual reality, because it's like
It is.
you're able to look anywhere you want and inspect things. But maybe virtual reality should be reserved for that term for like recreating a real location. In this sense, you're recreating a fake location. So that still counts though, because you're recreating a movie location. That's kind of.
So this is virtual reality, or is it not?
I would say it's in the spectrum because you're recreating a location that is like if a person was at, and we're both going to it. Well, yeah, maybe everything's VR. Jeez.
Maybe this is just virtual irreality.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna look for that country or that Western movie exhibit over in the CES.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so you mentioned you have a YouTube channel, something like that.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. But right now, this is streaming right now on Twitch.
Oh, hello.
Twitch. Well, there's nobody watching right now because I normally stream Fallout 4. You know what I mean? Like I was saying earlier, but it goes into the record, and I can find clips out of it. I can make clips out of it. The whole beginning of this video was me talking about the place, and now we're just this conversation forever.
I'm pretty sure right now there will be a lot of people entering the application and
Oh, yeah.
the booth from the CES.
Oh yeah, like people actually in there, whatever time it is.
Oh wait, can you like move in circles around the thingy that, or anything, anywhere? Just
Can't
move
move
in
in-
circles.
What do you mean?
I see something curious.
Like this?
Oh yeah, it's like an after image from movement.
Oh, you use the after image?
Yeah,
That's weird.
It's a little bit weird.
I don't see
yeah.
it.
Yep, it's an after image. It looks cool.
I don't see it.
Uh-huh.
I don't see it. Nope, I don't see it. Might just be you.
No,
'Cause
it's when you're on me like this. Look at me.
the after image?
Yeah, look at me. Look at me.
Oh, like a frame rate thing? Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, like that. Yes. Well, yes. If you move fast enough, you could like make multiple copies of yourself.
Yeah, look.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
the concept there of a
Yeah, like that.
superpower in virtual reality.
I'm many at once. See, right now I'm third person because I wouldn't do that. I can't do that. It won't let me do that when I'm in first person. So I'm trying to do that right now in first person. I can't. Third person, I can. See, first person. This is first person. I can't do all that weird stuff.
Well, this was been fun.
All right, man.
I gotta go now.
All right, peace out, yo.
So, good luck.
Let me see what your name is here. Serenthio? Let me add you as a friend on here. Stop it. Add. How do I do? Add friend. Bam. Did that work? Add. Oh, I did it.
What?
I did it.
I can't do anything. I have no.
Yeah.
I have no menu.
Well, if you look up on the Twitch, GOOBLBERTI, Gooboberty. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's GOOBOBERTI. Gooboberty. Gooboberty.
Okay. Got it.
Gooboberty. All right, I'm gonna bounce out.
See ya.
Peace out. Alright, virtual reality is complete. Back to the world.